Welcome to Old Iron Machine Works. A few videos ago, I showed a Wilton power arm I restored and an Armstrong vise that came from an estate sale down south. I picked up a couple of these Di-Acro Benders also from the same estate sale. This one here was only 20 bucks, but as you can see, it was pretty much rusted solid. And this video is pretty much freeing it up and bringing it back to life. These are held together by a 5/16 socket head bolt that runs all the way up to the top portion of the bender, and it was froze solid. So I decided to machine the head of the bolt off so I could put it in the press and press it apart. The element bolt they use appears to be a grade 8, so it's pretty tough. And so here I just got a little boring bar that would go in a boring head that I just stuck in a collet, and I'll use it to machine the head of the bolt off. That little piece is just what's left of the bottom of the head of the bolt. Here you can see how rusted up the bolt was, and the only way that assembly will come apart, it's got those little dowels that anchor the top from spinning. So the only way it's going to come out is if you're able to spin the bolt out or do like I did, machine the head and press it out. Now for the fun part. You can see the broken pins down in the holes, and that whole top section is extremely hardened, and I did not want to start heating anything up in order to drill out those hardened pins. In most cases, if the base material isn't hardened, you can go in there and just kind of start heating up the pins and soften them up a little bit, but I did not want to affect the hardness of the whole top piece. So just use carbide, and I think I broke a couple bits and kind of hard on them, but I finally did get them out. On this one, I was pre-drilling them with just some little carbide tipped drill bits, and I was able to drill through, and when I got close to the bottom, it snagged it and pulled it out. So I kind of got lucky with that one. On this one, the smaller drill bit with the carbide tips just plunged a hole all the way through it. So I had to go back in with a 1/4 inch solid carbide, and it did grab at the end and spin out what little bit was left of it. Here I'm basically just going to deburr it a little bit with the, I got a pretty worn out disc on the sander. Just kind of smooth things out a little bit before it goes into the polisher. Normally I would just take a nice sharp little small file and just kind of go around deburr, but this top section's so hard, it kind of laughs at the file. File as it doesn't do anything, it just skates right over it. So here I'm just taking a stone and, just kind of barely knocking the sharp edge off. This is a little vibrator polisher that just uses ceramic pieces to polish. I really like it. It gives a nice even finish, especially something that you've had to grind or sand on. It just smooths out the edges and just gives it a nice consistent look to it, which I like. Here I'm just spraying it down with the rust inhibitor. It's a solvent base material that you just spray on and let dry. I really like it a lot. It's really thin body. Doesn't leave a heavy buildup. I still got the little finger arm I gotta rebuild on the top, and I decided I wasn't happy with the one that was on it, so I think I'm gonna machine another one. So it'll be in a future video showing it. It's definitely not like new, but considering the shape it was in, I was pretty happy with the way it came out. Now, out of everything I got from that estate sale down south, this larger Diacro was probably, well, without a doubt, it was the best shape of the whole lot. I didn't do anything at all to this one. It's pretty much ready to put to work. While I'm on the topic of drilling out broken bolts and studs, one of my better customers that runs big landfills, they have the big Yenbacher engines on them that run off of the landfill gas, and they had a whole bunch of bolts that came loose and broke off. I think there was 10 of them out of the 12 that needed to be drilled out. And on this one, I actually had to put the riser block in the bridge cord to give me a little bit extra clearance. But I had to seal everything up and then just go in with carbide because everything is so hard. These can reach, they run about 1200 Fahrenheit temperature, and they can spike as high as 2000 degrees, but anywhere between 1000 and 1200 operating on the temperature, so it just hardens everything. Here I'm just trying to get it sealed up the best I can to keep the chips out of the inside of the turbos. These turbos are incredibly expensive. So just trying to keep it as clean as I can. These were actually a special stud. I believe they were 10 millimeter 1.5 thread pitch. And I'm just taking a solid carbide 1/4 inch and going around and plunging all the way through each hole. And then I'll come back with a carbide end mill, and I'll just leave just enough of the thread where I can get in there and kind of, chisel the pieces out of it. That's a nice and sharp, solid carbide end mill, and you can still see it bouncing away, just trying to chew away at it. This is how hard it is. From here, it was pretty much just some picks and needle nose pliers, and just start picking and pulling chunks out. Once I got all the broken parts of the studs out, I thought the hard part was done. But one of my nicer taps, trying to just clean up the holes, the turbo housing was just so hard. I was worried I was going to bust the darn tap off, just trying to clean the threads up. But when they do rebuild those turbos, they do put them in big ovens, and they totally have to re-anneal them, before they do any kind of, thread repair, or if they got to change the inserts or anything. I appreciate you checking out the video. I appreciate any kind of thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber and you like this kind of content, please hit the subscribe button. And until next time, take care.